Hey everyone, welcome in to another daily editorial here on the KE Report. I'm getting an update from Scorpio Gold. We're going to be talking about the start of the Phase 2 drill program and also answering some of your questions on the completion of that Phase 1 drill program and when we will see some of those results. I am chatting right now with Zayn Kalyan, the CEO of Scorpio Gold. Scorpio is traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol SGN, on the OTCQB under the symbol SRCRF, and on the Frankfurt Exchange under the symbol Z3S. Now, Zayn, again, following up on the drill programs, the continuation of drill programs here, it was announced on August 1st that the company completed Phase 1 of the drill program at the Manhattan Project and commenced Phase 2. Now, Phase 2, just over 3,000 meters and 13 holes. Phase 1 was a little over 1,100 meters in 5 holes. I'm going to post figure 1 from that news release that shows where these drill holes are located. Zayn, just remind everybody the goals around Phase 1 and Phase 2, please.
Yeah, so really the goals of Phase 1 and Phase 2 are to follow up on the nearly 100,000 meters of drilling that was done historically by Echo Bay and Kinross since the early 90s. And what our primary goal, with the 90% of that drilling being RC, really what our goals were to follow that up with core drilling, diamond core drilling, which is what we're doing currently, so that we can have a better understanding of the mineralization, being able to leverage it for confirmatory purposes, confirming our model. We have a pretty extensive model that we built, resource model and block model that we built from that 100,000 meters of drilling, as well as the more recent drilling that was done by Scorpio in 2021 and 2022. And then beyond that, doing some step out so we can kind of get a little bit more granular on the blocks and hopefully build some more ounces there as well.
So Zayn, I guess just to follow up on that big picture, what is the goal around, I guess, this initial drill program leading into the bigger strategy for the company?
Yeah, so the ultimate goal of this drill program really is to work towards our maiden resource. So we were working with Dan Koons and his team at DKA, Koons and Associates, and we're very close to being able to put out a technical report, leveraging obviously the 100,000 meters of historic drilling, the 1,200 drill holes alongside this new drilling. And then alongside that, we're currently doing metallurgical work to have a full understanding of the metallurgy at Manhattan. And ultimately the goal is to put out this maiden resource, likely Q1 of next year, but then be able to build ounces on top of that as we continue to do drilling throughout the rest of this year and into next year.
Okay, now we covered a lot of the company more in an overview sense back in the middle of June, tail end of June, actually. I'll post a link to that news release. But Zayn, when you're looking at, I guess, Phase 1 leading into Phase 2, any indications that you can get from just simply the drill core of Phase 1 since we don't have any of those results out yet?
Yeah, I think we're very happy with the core that we're seeing. Really kind of encountered the reliance fault in the zones where we expected to at the depths that we were expecting to. So that's really great news just from our perspective because it really does show that our blocks are accurate. But then beyond that, and all of our modeling is accurate, but beyond that, we have been able to actually do some connecting of the mineralization from the Goldwedge side to the Manhattan side, which is what one of our goals were, encountering some of that high-grade Goldwedge mineralization on the Manhattan side, which is pretty promising.
How deep are these holes going then, and how deep approximately was it that you encountered that mineralization you were looking for?
So some of these holes are going as deep as 1,000 feet, and it's pretty interesting because a lot of the holes from the previous campaign ended in mineralization. So holes from 2022 and even before that bottomed out at 750 feet, but they were ending in mineralization. So a big focus of this program was to follow up some of those holes and then continue at strike and continue to drill at depth. And what I'd say is where these connections are happening, it's effectively where we expected the faulting to occur and where we see this alteration, which is just further confirming our understanding of the block model and really kind of the structure of the mineralization.
So when do you think you're going to have some of the results or even all of the results back from that Phase 1 program of just over 1,100 meters?
Yeah, so I can't promise anything as everything, it's kind of contingent on the lab. But right now we're typically getting results back in about 10 to 14 days. So I expect that we'll have all of the results back from Phase 1 before the end of August.
Okay. So this is drilling, right? This is Phase 1, Phase 2, early on drilling at this project. You're looking to confirm what historic drilling was and also step out, and then even more importantly, potentially connect that mineralization between Goldwedge and Manhattan West. I do have to ask, because I had a couple questions come in asking about the share price of the company. It has generally drifted since our last call. It hasn't gone straight down, but it has been kind of that grinding action lower throughout June and more flat during July. What can you tell us about some of the trading in there, maybe what investors are looking for?
Yeah, I think ultimately the pressure on the stock has come from the 40 million shares that we had come free trading in late June, June 23rd. And that was the stock that came free trading as a result of the $6 million financing that we did at 15 cents at the end of February when we closed the amalgamation transaction. And while obviously it's not great to see the stock below that issue price, at the same time, given the fact that it did have a full warrant, I think you're seeing investors are taking a bid hitting a bid where they can. The market's not super strong, obviously. And at the same time, we were expecting that we would have our drill results out by then before that stock came free trading. Unfortunately, as with everything, things take longer than you expect. But at the same time, I think we're relatively happy with where the stock is, in the sense that we've been able to absorb a lot of that liquidity, turn over a lot of that stock into stronger hands. We have new shareholders who are coming in and buying a lot of stock and accumulating positions. And we're really happy with that support. And I think as we get these drill results out and as we continue to put out more news, the market will really kind of wake up and realize that there really is a big opportunity and we're significantly undervalued where the stock is today.
So how is the company doing cash-wise then to, I guess, finish phase two, but then even do another program or continue to advance the project after this current drill program?
Yeah, we're currently just evaluating kind of how we want to move forward. We're very focused on continuing drilling, continuing to get to this, or really doing everything we can to possibly get this resource out before the end of the year. Today, it's probably looking like our resource is going to be realistically out early Q1 next year, the main resource on Manhattan. But alongside that, there's a lot of different opportunities in terms of production scenarios in Mineral Ridge, production scenarios leveraging the Goldwedge mill. And all of those things are being explored currently. So what I'd say with that is there probably is a financing on the horizon here, but we're just kind of evaluating what makes the most sense strategically with timing with the drill results, obviously where the stock's at today, and just trying to evaluate all of our options.
Just remind everybody about that Goldwedge mill and what some of those options might be around utilizing that, please.
Yeah, so the Goldwedge mill is a fully permitted 400 ton per day gravity mill. It really does have a lot of potential in that there is no mill like that in about a 300-mile radius around Nevada of that size. And there's a lot of high grade ore in that district that has no real place to go. So a lot of high grade ore sitting on patented ground or relatively easily permitted ground that's in the district that could be leveraged and run through that mill. And that could potentially be a cash flow tool for the company.
Okay. Zayn, that takes us through this news. Again, I'm going to post figure one from the news release in the show notes. I'll also post a link to the company's website so you can read over that updated press release from August 1st. And Zayn, keep me up to date on when these results come out. I know a few listeners are waiting for them, so I'm happy to have you back on to just make sure we cover what in phase one and even follow up with phase two. So Zayn, thank you very much for your time in this update.